What's going on? What's going on? Thank you, Modern Oddity. Look at you. You was in the classroom before the teacher even showed up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Modern Oddity. But you and I already sort of communicated and had a little bit of a conversation about today's stream. So you knew what it was, and I knew that I wanted you here. So thank you for beating me here. You are the definition of don't meet me there, beat me there. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you if you're joining me right now live on this Friday evening. You know what I'm saying? My name is UGoddess, and this is Black Girl in a Blue State. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a Black girl in a blue state. I don't know much. I just know how I feel about certain things that make me feel. You feel what I'm saying? And when I get like this, how I am right now, when I get like this is the perfect platform for me to just let my voice be heard, even if it's just me and Modern Oddity up in here right now. Even if it's just me and two other people, that's fine with me too. I'm just getting this off my chest. And if I'm on a ledge, I appreciate those of you who try to talk me off of it. If I'm saying something wrong, I appreciate if you correct me with actual factuals. And if I'm saying something that you never heard before and maybe help you go and look into some things and research and do some due diligence on your own and maybe find a new path of thinking or something to that effect, then that's wonderful too. We are all in this together. And when I say this, I'm not talking about no Trump era. I'm not talking about no Biden era. I'm just talking about we're in this like life together. So let's get through this together. And what up, Happy Mac? I got my mods in the building. Yay for you not working. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should deserve a couple of days off or an hour or two off. You know, you can't work all the time, all work and no play. You know what I'm saying? Could end up making trouble for us all. So you guys, thank you for being here. For those of you that are watching now and those of you that will watch later, once again, my name is UGoddess. And I am disturbed. I'm disturbed. I'm shaken. I'm not feeling good. I've been feeling uneasy and unhappy. But pause, because happy birthday, Aubrey. Thank you for stopping by on your special day. I was just about to go into how I'm so depressed and I'm not feeling well and my mind is all over the place and I feel like I need a drink. And here comes Aubrey to say, today's my birthday. So thank you. See, I just was talking about that, talking me off the ledge. Sometimes I'm on the ledge and it takes people like you that are out there, stranger friends, my stranger friends, and some people that are actually my friends to help talk me off this ledge. I appreciate you, and I'm sure you are too. Happy, happy, happy birthday. And guess what? Go Team Aquarius. You feel what I'm saying? It's another Aquarius in the building, actually, and that's my guy, Free Society. So all the Aquarius people in the building, please stand up. And yes, we can be friends. Happy birthday to you. And thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping by. Those of you who are checking in with your girl, UGoddess. This is black girl, a black skirt and a blue state. And if you're here with me, hit that like, the thumbs up for me, please, if you like the content, because I'm just a small channel with a really big heart, and go Team Aquarius. But I haven't been feeling well. I really haven't. Yeah, I'm not into astrology per se, Modern Oddity. I'm not into astrology per se. Like, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, I act this way because I'm Aquarius. But it's still fun to be able to connect with people that are born during the same, I guess, astrological time or the same month and week and year as you. Like, you can sort of connect with people in that sort of way. So I'm not really good at saying what signs are known for and what signs mean, but I just know what they say about my sign, and it pretty much does encapsulate who I am as a person. But a lot of those descriptor words could be used for a lot of different signs, like you're an independent person. How many people aren't independent? I'm sure there's Scorpios that's independent, and there's Libras that are independent. You know, you once you put your foot down and you make your mind up for something, you're gonna get it done. You're determined. How many people aren't determined? So, you know, when you hear those kind of descriptive tones sometimes and they get attributed to certain signs, it's kind of like, is that a sign thing or is that just like a human thing? But anyways, I digress. Happy birthday, go Team Aquarius anyway. And Aubrey, I want to give you a special shout out. Thank you for redirecting me, because I really was about to start this whole stream off in a very bad and depressed and down feeling way. But I do got to sort of get back. I do sort of got to get back to that moment in my mind, because, you know, it is a somber time in the country right now. We can't really ignore that, even though our birthdays are getting ready to come up real soon. My birthday's in February, Free Society's birthday's in February. And you know, it's a happy time, but it's a time that we need to sort of pause and reflect. And it's a somber time because, you know, I'm the type of person that I travel a lot, okay? I'm on a plane probably at least once a month, and that's not an exaggeration. And every single time that I'm up there in the sky, I'm always thinking to myself, yo, I'm in the bleeping sky. I'm in the sky right now. Like, this is crazy. I think that same thought every single time I fly. I'm always amazed by it. And amazed might not even be the right word, because really I'm terrified by it. I'm intrigued by it. Yeah, I'm a little amazed by it, I guess, as well, but it's not anything that I do for fun. It doesn't make me happy to be 30,000 feet or 20,000 feet up in the air. Please do what Happy Mac is asking of you. He did it so kindly and so politely. He said, please. He said, please. So please hit the like and subscribe to UGoddess's channel. I'm a rapper first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? I do make music. I've got music on my channel, but I do these political rants every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Because just because I make music, I'm not, you know, painted into a corner or painted with one broad brush. You know what I'm saying? This is not shut up and rap or shut up and dribble. You know what I'm saying? I'm a multifaceted type of artist, as we all are and should be. So yes, check out the channel and check out the content. And of course, let me know how you feel. Thumbs down is okay too. You know what I'm saying? Because either way, that shows that you watched the content and you built an opinion about it at the end of the day. Flying is not my favorite thing to do. Getting to where I'm trying to go is my favorite thing to do. When people say they love to travel, I promise you, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, when they say I love to travel, they're not talking about the aspect of getting their bags packed, standing in long lines at the airport, going through TSA, having to take your shoes off, getting scanned down, getting patted down, getting stuck in airports because your flight was delayed, and all the things that come along with getting to where you're trying to go. So when you hear a girl like me say, I love to travel, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when I get there. When I get to where I'm going, I do not like flying, but I appreciate the fact that we can fly and get to where we need to go in a few hours flat. And oh, okay, where you at right now, Aubrey? Where you at? So I'm not trying to, you know, make anybody feel no type of way, but I tried to ignore it for a while. The last plane crash that we had, I think it was a South Korean airline, so it wasn't so close. It wasn't domestic. It wasn't so near and dear to us here in the States. And now we have one too. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because the president is talking about it. And look how the hell he sounds. Look how he sounds. He sounds crazy. So here I am with all my anxiety and my jitters and my expectations and my thoughts and my worries and my prayers and my dreams, and I'm feeling so unsure and uncertain every time I get on a plane and this happens. And the person who, not I personally look to for comfort, but the person whose job it is to provide comfort to an entire country, gets on the stage and immediately just wants to place blame, immediately wants to play the blame game. He did the same thing with the LA wildfires. He got on the stage, he got on the mic, and he immediately blamed Democrats and the governor. And it's just like, this is not the time. And who am I? Why should I feel like I need to tell this man who is the leader of the free world that this is not the time? Just a few out. I mean, the bodies haven't even been finished being pulled from the river, and you automatically are placing blame while bigging up your damn self. And I'm so disturbed by how he's acting and how he acted in his press conference. And if you haven't seen the press conference, big up Aubrey going to Texas, because you know I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So hopefully you're going somewhere near Dallas or Arlington or Frisco, and you might bump into Jerry Jones and just let him know I said, what up though? Like, make good decisions this offseason, Jerry. Make good decisions. Let him know I said that. So this guy that we call president, we're going to get into it, but let me play my intro. I didn't even play my intro yet. I just was giving you a verbal intro. Now we're going to play my intro, and then we're going to get into what's going on with the American Airlines Black Hawk disaster.
Please stop. So we come to cure the sickness of the hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? Brothers coming out here with all that garbage. He say he's R&B watered down, washed out road to the music, you know what I'm saying? We bring down the dirty, uncut.
Yeah, you got it. Listen. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll do this favor for you. I heard you wanna put in work. You're gonna get your feelings hurt. It's very, very simple. I don't mirror many people. I play mine, you play a role. Don't try to be no superhero. Beef is little. It could turn out to be big though. And you'll end up with a dimple right in between your temple. 'Cause no way, I don't play no games. See me, no way, no games. Nah, I don't play. Yeah, good luck, you gon' need it. I'm not conceited, I just know a lyrical maniac when I see it.
My sentiments exactly. I'm sorry that today is your birthday. I'm happy that today is your birthday, and I'm sorry for your loss. But as Happy Mac put it, I agree 100%. You know, death could push families apart, but it also does bring families together. So if anything, positive comes out of someone passing away, it's the act of the loss of the person bringing families together in a time like that, and sort of leaning on each other and supporting each other, and the memories, and you know, laughter comes out of death, and love and warmth comes out of death. So I hope you experience all those things, because death is at the end of the day an inevitable event. So shout out to you, and shout out to your grandfather. So why did your president get on the stage last night? And I'm going to give him this, and then I'm going to stop. He did do a moment of silence in the very beginning of his press conference. The first thing he did is say, moment of silence for those who were lost. And then immediately following that, he said, DEI was the cause of the plane crash. Immediately he said that when he became president, he got rid of a lot of DEI policies and procedures. And as soon as he left office, Biden put them right back in place. Immediately, he said that diversity hires were the cause of this tragedy, because the FAA, which you all know run, the airlines, had adopted DEI policies where they were hiring people who were not the best, and people who, he didn't say these words, but I mean, what else could he have meant? People who were not qualified to do the job, or were not the best qualified to do the job, because they were based on DEI requirements or DEI elements. This is in a time less than 24 hours after a plane and a military helicopter collided for absolutely what we could see no reason at all. Like, you're supposed to know where you're supposed to be in the sky. You're supposed to be able on, especially when they're like, the night was so clear. The sky was so clear. It wasn't raining. It wasn't cloudy. It wasn't foggy. Everybody was supposed to know where they were supposed to be. There was communication. Nothing ain't break down. They was like, hey, I see a plane. And the FAA and the air traffic controller was like, all right, yeah, as long as you see it, thanks for letting me know. And somehow, some way, they, the helicopter still hit the plane. And the helicopter, from what we understand, was an Army military helicopter that was in night training. So when you're training for night training, you have to do it at night when it's dark. And as we should know by now, the American Airlines plane was coming in from Kansas, and they was just getting ready to land. They was just getting ready to land. Like, from somebody who flies as much as I do, and as much as a lot of you do, when you're on that plane, and I'm sorry, Aubrey, to do this, it's when you're getting ready to travel. But when you're on that plane and you hear the pilot say, flight attendants, prepare for landing, and you look out the window and you finally starting to see land, it's not over just yet, but you feel like, we're almost there. Like, we made it through the turbulence. There might have been a little turbulence. There might have been, a long flight, maybe 4 or 5 hours. And when you hear that pilot make that announcement, flight attendants, prepare for landing. And then you hear them flight attendants be like, don't get back up out of your seat. And then, there's always that unruly passenger that wants to hop up and get something out of his luggage. And the flight attendant is like, sir, what are you doing? Sit your ass down. We're getting ready to land. And then you land. And not all the landings are the most perfect landings. Some of them are a little, you hop a little bit, you bump and you jerk a little bit. And some of them are smooth sailing. Like, you barely even feel when you hit the ground. It's just, shoo, and you're on the land. And all is well. And for those of you that are religious, you probably say, thank you, God. And even if you're not religious, you probably still say, thank you, God. And you're home, or you're where you were supposed to be going and you made it. You know what I'm saying? Fire elemental, this is called a labret piercing. This right here is called a labret piercing. My nose is pierced and I have my labret pierced. Modern said, what's clearly wrong with the situation is the military helicopter was way above their allotted airspace. They confirmed twice that they had visual of the jet, and then they flew into it. Modern Oddity said, there's speculation about night vision goggles being used in that airspace, making it significantly more difficult and the most difficult to navigate airspace in our country. Craziness. And Modern Oddity, you see how you saying these things right now? I would have never had a problem with the man that they call president getting on the stage and just getting right to it as far as that's concerned, because he touched on these things after he did the whole DEI foolishness. he eventually started talking about what people need to know and people want to hear. And that is what happened. Why did it happen? How could this happen? The helicopter clearly saw the plane, but instead, Donald Trump got on that stage and got on that microphone and started talking pure evil. And I don't know how the families of the lost victims feel. They probably wasn't even watching. They too busy waiting for their family members to be pulled from the sea. But if it was me, I'd be pissed. But nobody has time to be pissed at a time like this. We're all too busy trying to figure it out, like what happened. According to an FAA official, airlines hire a lot of people, but not all of them are going to be pilots. Not all of them are going to be air traffic controllers. They have very, very high standards to be an ATC. ATC standing for air traffic controller. It's important to remember diversity has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Employees who are found to not be physically or emotionally qualified to be an ATC will be subject to reassignment for a position for which they are fully qualified, or they'll be asked to retire, or they'll be fired. DEI or no DEI. To be medically qualified for retention, to be an ATC specialist, you got to meet requirements. This is what these anti-DEI people fail to mention in their arguments. You could be for or against DEI. I don't care. I don't care. But it's when people keep saying, I want someone who's qualified to do the job. I don't want nobody getting hired because of the color of their skin. So you really want to tell me that you think that they're hiring people at the FAA based on the color of their skin or based on the vagina between their legs, but they don't have to be qualified? Your stupidity is showing. You might want to cover that up. An air traffic controller specialist, unless otherwise indicated, must meet specific requirements, whether they're DEI, not DEI, picked up off the street, applied through an online website, was a referral from a friend, got recommended by someone in the Senate. They still gotta pass certain requirements. They check your eyes, your ears, your nose, your throat, cardiovascular, neurological, musculoskeletal, psychiatric, not to mention just general medical requirements, which is obvious. You can't be sick. So what is DEI? One more time, y'all, because we just went over this. But I see a lot of y'all, not my people, because I could never associate myself with people who don't understand this concept. But because your leader is pressing it into your brain that DEI means hiring because of the color of your skin and not based off of requirements or qualifications. Let me remind you one more time. The D in DEI stands for diversity. It just simply means hire more minorities. And oh, by the way, when you hear the word minority, it doesn't just mean Black. It means anyone who's not the majority. You understand me? So that could mean women of any color, because women are naturally minority to men. That could mean, of course, Black people, of course, Hispanic people, disabled people, and yes, the gay people as well. Hire more of them. Hire more of them. Because you keep hiring the same cookie cutter looking people. Rich, white, rich, white, male, 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 white, white. So now we asking you to switch it up and diversify. But here's where you guys are getting it wrong. You forget that the person still has to be qualified. The person has to be qualified to apply for the job. And then maybe based off of their minority status, they might get the edge over somebody else. You get it now? The E in DEI stands for equity. And I know y'all know about this because you've been hearing it on the news for years now, the last few years. What have women in the workplace been fighting for? All across all industries, across all sectors. What have women in the workplace been fighting for? What are the girls and the women in the WNBA? What have they been fighting for? Equal what? Pay? Equal work conditions? You can't fight for equal pay just because you're a girl. You have to actually be qualified to do the job. Like, what do I look like saying, hey, that brain surgeon makes 4 times my income. What's up with that? I want to make what he makes. If he only making that because he's a man and I'm a woman, that's why he makes that. No, he makes that because he's a brain surgeon and you're a paralegal. But a male paralegal and a female paralegal, now we could talk. Equity, equality. That's what it stands for. Where are y'all getting this mixed up? The I in DEI stands for inclusion. It's just this little Zen, hippie, feel-good thing where employers got to make their employees feel like they belong. That's where all this pronoun foolishness comes from. He, she, they, them, I, it, unicorn. That's inclusion. Oh, you want to come to work with a rabbit on your head? I gotta allow you to come to work with a rabbit on your head, and nobody's allowed to look at you funny or talk about you or make you feel uncomfortable because you're walking around with a rabbit on your head. That's inclusion. And I can't fire you for it. And I can't write you up or discipline you for it, because then that might be considered discrimination. So yeah, I'm just gonna make you feel comfy, cozy with the rabbit on your head. You weirdo. Inclusion. Nothing that I just stated says anything about and give people jobs that they're not qualified to do based on any of that criteria. No, it's not true and it's just not right. But you have a president that gets on TV and says stuff like this. And I'm going to get to y'all comments in a minute.
We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first.
Let me preface this by saying that these are obviously clips that I clipped up and put together for the purposes of this show. So if you feel like I'm leaving anything out or I'm editing this to make it seem one way or another, you can obviously Google and go on the great YouTube and find the press conference and watch it in its entirety for yourself. I would never intentionally clip together clips to spread one narrative or another. I'm just trying to show y'all that this is what this man said just moments after doing a moment of silence for the victims of this crash. Like literally, he got on the stage, he said moment of silence, and then he said that. I just don't get it. He's talking about how he had fixed up the law and made it all good, and after Obama was in office, and then when he left, Biden came in and messed it all up again, and now he's back and he's fixing it again, right? I'm not going to stoop to his level and politely remind him that this airplane crash happened on his watch. I'm not gonna do that. The FAA's language surrounding DEI and hiring people with disabilities was featured on their website all the way back in 2013. So all of this, like, he fixed it up and Biden destroyed everything he did and did something different. That shit been on the website for over 10 years. And yes, that was when Obama was president. Absolutely. That was when Obama was president. Sure. But the language that's encouraging the hiring of people with disabilities and problems and stuff like that, they specifically wrote that the candidates in the program will receive the same rigorous consideration in terms of aptitude, medical, and security qualifications. So in other words, as I said, you still have to be qualified. And I promise you, according to the FAA, they might hire people with disabilities to fulfill this need to diversify the workplace. But the person with the disability is not going to be the one that's doing the air traffic controlling. That's a whole different type of employee. That's where we got to get discriminatory, because that person is in charge of our safety when we're in the air. So what is the president saying? Let me go to the comments. I know I missed a lot, but I know y'all were talking to each other, so that's good too. I'm happy to see that y'all are talking to each other. Fortnite wants to know what happened. Did anybody tell them what happened? Unfortunately, there was a collision in the sky over Washington, D.C. on President Trump's watch. And all he wants to do is play the blame game. All he had to do was get on TV and say thoughts and prayers, because you can't really say much more than thoughts and prayers, because you can't say why it happened or how it happened less than 24 hours after it happened. It's just not enough time. You know how long it's going to take for them to figure out what happened? Modern is reminding us that he told us twice that there was confirmation from the Black Hawk that they had visual of the jet and were to pass behind them. They confirmed it twice. But the DEI situation at the FAA is the reason why they crashed? Happy Mac, you can't do that. You might get in trouble, Happy Mac. You gotta let Mr. Rabbit live. And see, like, if I want my pronouns to be unicorn schmoonicorn, you gotta call me that, or I'm telling HR, and you're gonna be the one in trouble. That's inclusion. You're gonna be the one in trouble, Happy Mac. Landlord from Alabama, thank you for stopping by. Modern Oddity says he wants to avert attention from the fact that he's making all these changes, then a military chopper causes the first major jet accident in 16 years within 2 weeks of him becoming president. Why doesn't he say that? He's sitting here trying to convince us that DEI hires on a federal level are the reason why them two planes crashed last night or Wednesday night. Because he fixed the policies and then Biden messed them all up. But when he came back into power January 20th, he put them same policies back in place. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? And this is less than 24 hours after almost 70 people just died in a frozen lake.
So I had to say that it's terrible. Then it's a group within the FAA, another story, determined that the workforce was too white, that they had concerted efforts to get the administration to change that and to change it immediately. This was in the Obama administration just prior to my getting there. And we took care of African Americans, Hispanic Americans. We took care of everybody at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's one of the reasons I won. But they actually came out with a directive, too white. And we want the people that are competent.
You too white. You too white. Spice it up. Put some seasoning on that rice. So if we go by Trump's logic, the workforce was too white. So Obama, black as he is, came into the White House and said, hey, yo, you got to start hiring minorities. And please, once again, let us remember that minority doesn't necessarily mean black. It means someone who is not of the majority. Hire more of them. Balancing out a little bit. Trump says he fixed this when he got into office. And then he says that his administration only wanted the best and the brightest. So what does this mean? That it was the best and the brightest when it was declared to be, quote unquote, too white? And then when Obama asked them to put some seasoning on the rice, it became no longer good enough? Those people still got to be qualified. They're just saying, hire some disabled people. Disabled people could work. You ever go to like a drive-through at a fast food restaurant or inside of a fast food restaurant and that you see like a disabled person maybe doing janitorial duties? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying you got to let people do what they're capable of. You're not going to let someone like that be an air traffic controller, but they still deserve a chance and a right and an opportunity to work if they are able to do what they are capable of and not anything more. Too white. You're too white. I don't know. I'm going to have to see. Might have to, get in the sun a little bit. I know. At least I can take solace in the fact that I know reality when I get fired. Anyone not straight white male don't need legs to be an excellent air traffic controller. Don't need legs. Well, yeah, if you don't got no legs, that don't have anything to do with your mental capacity. Because they do psychologically test you to get to do these type of jobs. What do they think? They think they really just giving these jobs to anybody? You too white. Check this dude out.
When we deal with safety, we can only accept the best and the brightest in positions of safety that impact the lives of our loved ones, our family members. And I think you make a really important point on that, Mr. President. That is the motto of your presidency, the best and the brightest, the most intelligent coming into these spaces.
So these people, and by the way, that was the Secretary of Transportation under Trump's new administration. Sorry, I should have turned my phone down. Under Trump's new administration, that's who that was, the Secretary of Transportation. So he got a little bit of, he a little fiery, he a little peppery, because this falls on him. Trump only been president for 11 days. And this dude got to deal with all of this. He's the Secretary of Transportation. Okay? So he's pissed. But as someone who travels as much as I do, I'm concerned. Because basically Trump and his people are trying to convince us now that this whole time, the whole time since he hasn't been in the White House, our airports and our planes have been under the control and the careful or not so careful eye of a bunch of DEI hires that weren't qualified for the job. So this Whole time. Every time I got on a plane, my life was in serious jeopardy and danger, according to them. Because whenever Trump wasn't president, DEI hires that weren't qualified for the job was running the show. So planes theoretically should be crashing and falling out of the sky every damn day. Unless Trump is president. Listen to the Secretary of Defense. You know he got to be involved because this was a military helicopter. You feel me?
We will have the best and brightest in every position possible. As you said in your inaugural, it is colorblind and merit-based. The best leaders possible, whether it's flying Blackhawks and flying airplanes, leading platoons, or in government. The era of DEI is gone at the Defense Department, and we need the best and brightest, whether it's in our air traffic control, or whether it's in our generals, or whether it's throughout government. So
I want to pull my hair out. The best and the brightest. DEI hires. And I swear I'm not here advocating for DEI. I'm not. But they're forcing my hand. Because what they're saying don't make sense. DEI is no longer in the Department of Defense. But the only reason why it was there is because someone somewhere along the way saw it to be necessary. Because if nobody didn't ask y'all to hire minorities, you wouldn't. And that don't mean hire unqualified minorities. When he say we want the best of the brightest, it smells a little racist. Because you're saying the best and the brightest are not in that pool of DEI hires. And what's in the pool of DEI hires are minorities. Minorities, once again, meaning anyone who is not of the majority. So the best and the brightest is only confined within the majority and not in a DEI hire. Is that what you're saying? So this whole time that I've been flying, since 2008, when Obama became president, you mean to tell me my life was in jeopardy that whole damn time? Not just because flying is a risk, it's risky business, but because DEI hires, my life was in DEI hires' hands. And they're not the best and the brightest. You heard the man. That's the Department of Defense telling you that. That's the Secretary of Defense. He only been on the job 11 days. Not even. Because Trump went in on the 20th, and then he had to start picking his people. Some of his people wasn't picked yet. He just got on the job. So he's shitting himself right now. Looking for somebody to blame. Instead of just comforting the country. Why don't you just comfort us? You know how long it's been since a plane crashed? In the States? A commercial plane like this, like Modern Oddity was saying. DEI is absolutely, DEI would have never been implemented if this country was hiring in this colorblind manner that he speaks of. We all know that it's not true. It's simply not true. The last time I did a show talking about DEI, I asked y'all to do a little homework assignment. I said, close your eyes and pick a corporation, any corporation. Pick your favorite corporation. Pick your favorite restaurant. Pick your favorite retail outlet. Go on their website and click on their corporate links. And go look at their board of directors. Go look at their corporate team, the CEO, the COO, the CFO. Go look and see what they look like, and then come back to me. DEI does not mean not qualified. It's not doing somebody a favor, like, my cousin, he's looking for a job, he just got laid off. Or he fresh out and he need a job. You don't got nothing over there in the air traffic controller tower? that he could do? Not even like a janitor at the airport, not even like somebody that works in the airport lounge or a baggage handler. No, you want him to go straight to the top. Look, you could hook my cousin up with an air traffic, one of them ATC jobs. You can't let him, we want to call him ATC Wheezy. You know what I'm saying? You don't got nothing like that he could do? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let me see. I'll talk to my boss and I could probably get him in there because, Joe be calling out a lot. I don't know. His wife is pregnant. She always sick. We do need somebody else in the tower. You know what I'm saying? Do he know anything about landing planes? It don't matter. We'll just teach him when he gets here. We need more Black people on the job anyway. Like, y'all think that's how it works? You think that's what DEI is? The president thinks that's what it is. Yo.
Certainly for an air traffic controller, we want the brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior, and that's what we're going to have. Yeah.
JVB boy, am I being too extreme one-sided? Is it because I'm so upset right now and maybe I'm a little bit emotional? I'm not gonna hold you because I think it's so sad what happened to those people on them planes. Every time these who say we want the best and the brightest, the most qualified, do it have a little smell of racism? Because what do you mean? You really think the people that's getting hired is not the best and the brightest? I'm so confused. And then let me just get through these clips.
Something the president said that I think bears re-emphasizing, which is that when you don't have the best standards in who you're hiring, it means on the one hand, you're not getting the best people in government, but on the other hand, it puts stresses on the people who are already there. And I think that is a core part of what President Trump is going to bring and has already brought to Washington, D.C. is we want to hire the best people because we want the best people at air traffic control, and we want to make sure we have enough people at air traffic control who are actually competent to do the job. If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership because safety is the first priority of our aviation industry. Thank you.
So once again, this whole time, my little Black ass was never safe. I was never, this whole time. Over the last 16 years, how long it's been, Modern Oddity, since we had a crash like this? 16 years, going on 20? We were never safe the whole damn time. If you let these people tell it. Yeah, the helicopter ran into the plane. The plane was minding his business, JVB boy. The plane was minding his business. The plane was this close to landing and bringing those people home safe. For context, because that little weasel of a man who is the vice president of y'all country, I don't like him. I don't like him. Trump don't even count because we all know Trump, he don't even count. I should never give him as much energy as I do. But that little weasel dude, he got that fat face and little body. Talking about people getting turned away from positions due to the color of their skin. You don't say. People getting turned away from jobs because of the color of their skin in this country? I never. Where are my pearls so I can clutch them? Oh, you mean white people getting turned? Oh, that's different. Now that's different. Now that's racism. Yeah. That's racism. But that other stuff back in them days, 1960s, civil rights, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all that. Oh, not that. Oh, you're talking about white people getting turned away from jobs because of the color of their skin. Oh, my bad. To give it context, in 2014, the FAA revised some of its hiring protocols, right? And they ended up introducing a biographical questionnaire as a preliminary screening tool for all their applicants. So they started asking people, what color is you? Is you black or white? We need to know before we move on with this hiring process. Okay? They started doing that in 2014. In 2016, 2 students, one white, one Native American, filed a lawsuit against the FAA because they said that they weren't hired because Black people were hired instead of them. Poor you. Welcome to our world. Come on and have a seat. Get comfy. Start to see how that shit feels. Sorry, but not sorry. Are you kidding me? 2 people? You mad because you ain't get the job? Go apply at another job. Are you kidding me? You're not supposed to always get every job you apply for. You want to know what law they used to file this lawsuit? The Civil Rights Act of 1964. How ironic. How ironic. The same act that was put into law to make sure that Black people weren't discriminated against, y'all turn around and want to use it now so you can get a job? Hell nah. No, it should be a law within the law that says they're not allowed to use that law when they want to file their little petty lawsuits. Go get another job. Go apply somewhere else. Are you kidding me? You using the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to complain that 2 Black people got a job instead of you? 2 Black people? All right, so that happened in 2014, 2016, right? And it dragged on for years and years and years and years. It still has not come to a settlement to this day, 2025. No date has been set for this case to be heard in court. All these years later, that's what that little squiggly man was talking about just a second ago when he said people weren't getting hired because of the color of their skin. That's what he was talking about. Welcome back, Aubrey. In February 2022, the judge did grant class action certification. What does that mean? Class action certification means that the judge opened it up to others to be able to say, Diddy touched me too. Me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. So it turned into a class action lawsuit, right? And that's where other people now started saying, hey, I remember when I applied to the FAA and I didn't get the job either. And then I was talking to my buddy, Tony, who works there, and he told me 3 new Black people just walked in the door. Hey, that's discrimination. Y'all are crazy for that. I want to read y'all comments. I really do.
And he somehow managed to blame Presidents Joe Biden and Barack Obama for the very existence of people of the wrong gender and the wrong race ever occupying such jobs. It is the first time in history that a president of the United States has assigned blame for an aviation accident on his own, immediately, based entirely on his own profoundly ignorant, prejudiced guess.
Lawrence O'Donnell, tell him like it is. Tell him the truth. Say it louder for the people in the motherfucking back. What kind of president are you? I'm showing y'all clips from a press conference that was supposed to talk about the crash. Like the country is on edge. People are scared. They're worried. They're concerned. They want to know, is it safe to fly? How could something like this happen? And that's what you do? And I told you, I'd give him credit for the moment of silence in the beginning of the press conference, but it was all downhill after that. Now, I'm going to give him credit for something else. After all of that buffoonery at the end of the press conference, he started getting to the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. He started saying things like we saying right now. How could that happen? Why did the helicopter crash into the plane? How come he said he's seen it, but he still ended up rear-ending it or crashing into it? Why didn't he fly higher? Why didn't he fly lower? Why didn't he move over? Why did this happen? There you go, Trump. That's what you should have been saying. That sounds like a president to me. That sounds like a president to me. But the beginning of that press conference was so disgusting. It was so nauseating. All I could hear while I was watching that press conference, this is all I could hear.
We must have only the highest standards, for only the highest aptitude. They have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people. And we want the people that are competent.
We can only accept the best and the brightest.
We will have the best and brightest.
We want to hire the best people.
The brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior, superior.
That's all I heard. That's all I could hear. We want the best and the brightest. We want the superior, psychologically superior. And none of that sounds bad until you realize that they're saying, and that's not what DEI will give you. That's where the problem lies. Because who don't want the best and the brightest doing the jobs that we rely on them to do, to live? Who don't want the best and the brightest brain surgeons, the best and the brightest lawyers, the best and the brightest bus drivers, the best and the brightest air traffic controllers, the best and the brightest police officers, the best and the brightest teachers in our kids' schools? Who don't want that, Trump? What you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, but best and brightest are not in that pool of DEI-itis. Ain't no best and brightest in there. Don't even bother looking in that bucket. Ain't nothing in there. Ain't nothing in there. Come over here. Come over here. Come over here. That's all I heard. Isn't this disturbing?
We must have only the highest standards, for only the highest aptitude. They have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people. And we want the people that are competent.
We can only accept the best and the brightest.
We will have the best and brightest.
We want to hire the best people.
The brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior, superior.
Yo, imagine if you work for the FAA right now. It's not even funny. I'm laughing as just like a knee-jerk reaction, but it's not even funny. Imagine how you feel if you work for the FAA right now. Blessings, one big chin. Wagwan. Modern oddity. It's the repetition. I clipped that up. I chopped that clip up. Yeah, I did that. But it's the repetition. Best and brightest, psychologically superior, best and brightest, the best, the brightest. Why do they keep saying it over and over and over again? It's programming, bruh. It's programming. What if the person quit because someone else they admired was let go? It's his words that make him sound like him. He's spouting Nazi ideology. It's been times that I've wanted to say those words, but I'm like, YouTube ain't going. YouTube. If I do that, the next time I go live, you think my numbers is low now. You think my numbers is low now. Let me start comparing him to the man with the... Because that's what that man did all those years ago. And all it took was for people to believe him. That's all it took, y'all. Somebody with brown hair, brown facial hair, and brown eyes got on TV and said only people with blonde hair and blue eyes are the best. And everybody was like, yeah! Facts, true, yup, true. What? And then he got on the mic and he was like, Jewish people are scum. And people was like, you know what? Jewish people really are scum. It's true. Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was just telling my husband that yesterday. You know, Jewish people, they're scum. But this man came on TV and he's finally someone that could really express the way I really feel. He's right. Round him up. I don't know, y'all. If I'm going too deep, or if I'm looking into this a little too, you know what I'm saying, biased, or am I being extreme? Or because if I am, then somebody talked me off the ledge then. Tell me how I'm not. I kind of wish some of my Trump supporter watchers were in here, because I do have Trump supporter watchers that come in and they be like Trump 2024 and they be, you know, doing their thing and they're respectful. And I'd be like, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know what's up. I don't mind. Don't ever put no label on me. I got a lot of conservative views. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. I got a lot of conservative views. I wish some more of my Trump supportive watchers were in here right now to talk to me. And let me know, am I wrong? Like, do y'all agree? You Trump supporters, you Trump 2024 all the way. He's the best, whatever, the best and the brightest, whatever. Talk to me. Tell me if you agree with how he ran that press conference last night. Blamed a plane crash on DEI hiring just so he could further push his anti-DEI agenda on the backs of 64 dead people. I wish it was some Trump supporters in here right now. You explain it to me. And if you can convince me, you're good. You're good, bruh. We can't be this divided that we think that 50% of us are going to say that press conference was bullshit. And the other 50% are like, yeah, go Trump. Wish he could do another 4 years. Like, we can't be that divided, y'all. There's got to be some kind of uniform morality among us as human beings. Like, forget Democrat, forget Republican, like just straight up morality amongst us. Turn the cameras off. Lock the door, pull down the shades. Nobody has to know. Just come whisper it in my ear and let me know that you thought that wasn't okay too. Please, just so I can have some faith in humanity. Inbox me. I won't tell nobody. Oh, how long have I been? Yeah, it's about that time. That's okay too, Happy Mac. That's okay too. We don't gotta always pick one side over the other every single time. Are you kidding me? You know, there's no rules to this, even though they try to make you feel like it's rules to this, to make us divided and confused and not focus on what he's doing in office, because we gotta talk about this. crazy. It's been an hour. I really, really appreciate those of you that stuck and stayed with me from the beginning of this stream. You know how I always say, I just be wanting to get some stuff off my chest. And I really appreciate y'all for being here and listening to my rant. I do put work into this. I do put research into this. You know what I'm saying? I try my best to come to you with the facts. Opinions come alongside it. But when it's facts, it's facts. You know what I'm saying? I do the research. If I don't know something for sure, I look it up and I research. And I'm not talking about Wikipedia, baby. I'm talking about I do my research. That's what I do for a living. And I come to y'all with it because I just want to make sure that I'm not crazy and alone in my thoughts. Shout out to my mods for being here with me from the beginning. Shout out to my son that's in the building. I be trying to behave myself because I know my son is watching and moderating. It's been an hour before I end this stream, and I'm sure my son wants to get on the PlayStation. He's quietly waiting. Trump on if he'll visit the site of deadly aviation collision. Do you want me to go swimming? So what happened with that? And then I'm going to end the stream. Stick and stay with me for 2 more minutes, y'all. Give me 2 more minutes. What happened with that was one of the reporters at the end of the press conference said to him, President Trump, do you plan on visiting the site of the crash? And this nigga looked at that person and said, what I'm going there for? What you want me to do? Go swimming? If you don't believe me, just go look it up. Go look it up. It's there for you to see for yourself. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. You know, I'm not that far off. He said, what could I do there? Go swimming? I'm not that far off. I promise you. I will not lead you astray just to push my own agenda of some sort. I'm just a tiny little YouTube channel. I got 2,000 subscribers. Ain't nobody listening to me but us right here. I would not lead you astray. So listen, I appreciate that, my mods. I appreciate y'all. I really do. And that really, if y'all do decide to donate to the channel, because I am not a monetized channel, if you do decide to donate to the channel, it will go towards a microphone. It will go towards a microphone, which is much needed. I appreciate my mods. I really do. Yeah, Modern. I remember them days when I was at 300 subs. You know, you put in the work, you'll get there. You'll get there. I got there somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? My music videos, shout out to my music videos. But before we go, 2 more minutes of your time, y'all, because this really is not about us. This is really about the victims of the plane crash. And I just wanted to show y'all. That it takes like I got a bag on my head. Well, maybe you can identify as Mr. Baghead or something like that. Like, you know, when next time you go to work, Happy Mac, you'd be like, I want to feel included. So I want to diversify the workplace. So I'm just going to come to work with a bag on my head. But then again, your job probably got rid of DEI by now because, you know, Trump's president now. So they can do that. This is about the victims. There was over 60, almost 70 victims of these. David Jenkins, you can get off my stream. You can get off my stream if that's how you feel. And you could get up out of here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the half of you that you just gave me. I appreciate you. Almost 70 people lost their lives when that Black Hawk helicopter slammed into that American Airlines jet plane. And at first when it happened, I heard that, you know, it was a plane filled with ice skaters. You feel what I'm saying? It was a plane filled with ice skaters. And I thought, you know, because like, you know how like teams, like sports teams and athletes, they all fly together. So, and you know, God forbid, I barely even want to say this, but if God forbid something were to happen to them while they're en route to the game from, you know, from one place to another, the whole team would be taken out, right? So that's what I thought it was at first. It was just like a plane filled with ice skaters. But that's not necessarily the case. So there were some U.S. figure skating champions on that plane, their coaches, and they were coming from like a skating event in Kansas, because this plane was coming from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. And the skaters were returning back to Boston, and they were returning back. Some of them had actually left already and had already gone back home. Imagine how they feel. Imagine how that's like the people that was supposed to be on the helicopter with Kobe. That's like the people that were supposed to be on the helicopter with Kobe and they didn't go, or they were like, I'll catch you at the next one, or they were like, I'll catch the next plane, or I'll just drive there. And then the helicopter crashed. So a lot of people got salty when Kobe passed away, because they were like, oh, he wasn't the only one on the plane. Him and his daughter wasn't the only one on the plane. It was other people on the plane. You guys, come on now. Come on now. He's Kobe mother effing Bryant. Of course, all the news headlines are going to be about him. The news headline isn't going to be about Susan Jones. We don't know her. But of course, we were very hurt and heartbroken that even happened. There was a lot of people on that helicopter, babies that died on that helicopter, yo. Young kids that died on that helicopter. But Kobe was the biggest star. So, of course, we only heard about his name. Relax yourself. So when this first came out, that's all we was hearing was U.S. figure skaters, because the Olympics is big business, y'all. The Winter Olympics, ice skating is that shit. Ice skating is what a lot of people watch the Winter Olympics for. So we all are kind of familiar with athletes, never mind just ice skaters, just athletes in general, how they have to travel from city to city to go play their game, to go play their sport. And a plane crashes with an entire team. The entire team is lost. So don't be salty if that's the way the news is portraying it. It doesn't mean that the other people's lives don't matter. Just kind of be a little understanding in a time like this. All the names are not going to be reported. All the names are not going to come out. But I do have a few names. These are not everybody. All the names haven't even been identified as of yet. This is not everybody, but this is some of the victims. Just a snapshot of some of the victims that were on the plane. As someone who flies a lot, like I literally just got home from a trip and I'm literally already planning to go on my next one. This shook me to my core. But I want to take a moment and just, like I said, this is not everybody, it's just a few, but I do want to honor these victims before we go. All right, so hopefully y'all stay with me. Give me 2 minutes of your time.
Captain Jonathan Campos started flying for American Airlines in 2022, loved flying and loved his family. Sam Lilly, American Airlines pilot. He was getting married in the fall and was the son of an Army helicopter pilot. Denasia Elder was a flight attendant, a mother of two, and a great wife and parent. She was chasing her dreams, and they say she would want us to do the same. Ian Epstein was also a flight attendant. His family says he loved traveling, loved his family, and loved life. Lindsay Fields was a biology teacher who loved to cook. She was traveling to Washington to advocate for excellence in education. Azra Hussein Raza was based out of Washington and was on her way home from work-related travel. Kia Duggins was a civil rights attorney. She was a Harvard Law graduate and an intern for Obama's administration. She was visiting her family and was on her way back home. Ryan O'Hara was a soldier on board the helicopter. He was disciplined and committed and leaves behind a wife and a 1-year-old baby. There were 6 U.S. figure skating athletes, coaches, and family members on this plane. 2 youth skaters, their mothers, and 2 coaches were lost to the figure skating community.
Peace, y'all.